Hello everyone. Hi, how are you? I hope you're all well. Bear with me one second while I get some picture on screen. Let's have a little look, see if we can find the live. Yes, there we go. That's me, my noise. Hello Sarah, how are you? Okay, so I need some bits and pieces, don't I, that we can be crafting with here. I hope you're all really good, and I hope you've all had a good Thursday so far. This is my favourite part of the Thursday. And favourite part of the week because I get to do some crafting. So I'm just having a little look-see here, see if I've got, yes, excellent. So I know one of the things that I've spoken to you guys about before is I have a little stash of pre-coloured and die-cut images that I can call on. I was just having a little look through my through that stash to see if I could find any pre-coloured images from, mainly from this. This is the Happy Mail Critters. So I think this is the one that I want to use today. But I've also got some images from the Smitten Kitten. Hi Nicola, hello guys, I'm so glad you could join me. So, and I've got a couple of cards here from the last couple of sessions that we did. So these were a little bit more involved. I mean, this one, this was the one that I did on YouTube on Tuesday. I adored making this card. I absolutely loved it. So this is our Box Clever die that's been used to make more of an open box pop-up card, and making the scene itself was just absolutely amazing. I loved it, and I even then had the idea once we got to the end was to put a little recipe on the back which I just printed on Word. It had to be quite small so that I could get it all on, but it works. And then I just added some more embellishments on the back, and I just thought that's a really cool thing to send to someone. And it's actually given me an idea of a card that I'm going to send my mum. But I'm not going to mention anything about it just in case she watches this because it's a surprise. So, but that was quite involved. This one wasn't as involved, but there was still quite a lot of steps to it in terms of how long it took us. So, today I want to do something that I'm never very good at, and that is a clean and simple card. And if we get a chance, I might do a couple. Hence the reason why I'm just going to pop these to one side. Where can we pop them? Hence the reason why I'm looking for any pre-coloured images, because that will obviously speed things up for us a little bit. So I've just seen a few questions, a few people joining us, which is lovely. Hello to Julia, Jessica, Annalisa's with us, Jane, hello there, Shawnee's here, hello lovely, Claire is saying hello to all of the lovely crafters. Annalisa, the recipe was for some simple scones. I keep moving my my craft mat around. Yeah, so just for some simple scones. So a few ingredients and then 5 steps to make them. So and I do have to make some scones this weekend. So yeah. I'm glad that I got that reminder. But I just think that that's so cool. I love that card. It's probably one of my most all-time favourite cards that I've made, I would say. Annalise is saying, oh dear, clean and simple, it's our nemesis, Joe. It absolutely is our nemesis, which is why I want to practice, because I find clean and simple really, really difficult, as you know. And sometimes you just need a clean and simple card, don't you? You need a quick card. It might not be clean and simple, but you need something quick. So that's what I want to be kind of, I don't know, I want to practice a little bit more. We can do the cards that are involved and I've got a bit more interaction, but it's also nice to have some ideas for quick and simple cards. This is why I keep these bits, because these bits are then perfect for when we want to do those quick and simple cards, because we've already got some of the works already done for us. So then really all we're doing is doing a bit of a background, coming up with a bit of a, I suppose, a concept, and then we can make a really nice quick and simple card in theory. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I feel like I've gone a little bit skew width now. Just bear with. It's one of those things that I start off straight and then it tends to go a bit wonky. So just bear with. Sorry if that makes anyone a little bit seasick. And then let's just try and zoom in a little bit. That's better, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Excellent. Okay then, right. So yes, I love this stamp set. This stamp set's really cool. And I also love these big dies for sentiments. So the paper hugs, I mean the big hugs is a great one to use for all kinds of things, and I think we potentially might use that shortly. But the paper hugs one is a great one, and it goes really, really well with this stamp set. So let's have a look at what images I've already got. I've got some already stamped out, which is great if we needed extra images. So we've got the raccoon, the little cat, we've got the box, and we've got a stamp, and we've got the little bird, and then we've got the mailbox. But I have already got some that are already stamped out and die cut. So let's see, I'm not quite sure what we've got. So we've got the mailbox, we've got the cat, we've got a pile of boxes, we've got the little dog, I've got the stamp with the made with love sentiment stamped, another envelope and another little box. So that's kind of cool. We've already got a fair few bits from the set already done for us, which is good. And if I need any extras, then I do have this. So, and we've also got a bit of a colour scheme going on. Now, this particular note in the thing doesn't really go with the colour scheme, but that one does. So what I might be inclined to do is to stick this one over the top, because that matches our colour scheme. I don't know where my words have gone today. They've just gone. They've just left the building. So somebody saw then, Jane says that the mailbox looks like a watermelon. I think, yeah, it does, because of the colours. It's these reds look really, really juicy, don't they? And I think with the black hearts they look a bit like seeds. But I do love this this colour scheme, this colour palette with the aquas and the salmony pinks, and then with the brown for the boxes. I think it just works really, really well. So I think we're going to use these little guys. I'm not quite sure what in terms of what the setup's going to look like yet, but that's where this comes in. So this is our large die, and I did have an idea of potentially having this cut out of the background, so apertures, and then colour in the background. So we could pick out some of the colours that are in our images already as our background and use some inks to add those colours in. So, and I also have picked out some other die sets for our actual card base. So I've got the mini slimline, and I've also got the inverted scalloped die set. Now, I've not really done a mini slimline for a while, and I feel like I might be intrigued to do that today. But it's whether it's going to fit into our plans. So the internal bit, the scallop bit, is a little bit too small. It's going to overhang our paper hugs, but the actual slimline card shape as a whole works quite nicely. So I'm inclined to do that because the paper hugs fits really nicely in the centre. So when I'm thinking about a card and composition, these are the kind of things that I'm thinking of. We've got room to pop in here some of our little critters. So we can have maybe our little dog up there. We've got our mailbox here, or we could even just have the little box there and this little guy. That would work quite well. It's clean and simple. It gives us some images left over for another card as well. So I quite like that as a layout, and again it is very, very clean and simple. The other option for a layout would be to use the inverted scallop die. So this is another really fun die, and now that's going to give us a little bit of a scallop border, and the paper hugs is going to fit really neatly in the middle, which I do quite like that effect. I think that looks really nice. So I've got an idea. We can do this in two different ways actually, which could be quite cool. Because these scallops are overhanging a little bit more, it doesn't give us much room for all of our critters. So I'm going to stick with the original plan, which is to go with this shape of card. So let's put this to one side, and let's cut this out of some cardstock. So I'm going to cut this out of some white cardstock. You could have the critters overhanging the border. Exactly, Jade. So this is what I mean, I've got a plan that we could maybe be able to do a bit of a 2-for-1 here. But my first plan is to make my card base for the mini slimline. So the mini slimline, let me just try to test which is, oh, that's my thicker cardstock. That's what we need. So I'm going to get my scoring tool here. So this is the scoring tool. Move that die to one side, move these little guys up there a little bit, so that hopefully you can see a little bit of my scoring tool. So this is the We Are Memory Keepers Trim and Score. So this has now become a score board, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my die here as a bit of a guide for the size of a card base that I want. So I'm going to line this up here, and I'm going to have a little bit of a border, I think, around my die cut. So I'm going to pop this here, and then the next kind of line across is this one, so I can score along here. Oh, score along there, and then we'll fold, and we will burnish with our bond folder. And now I know that this is the right width for my card base, and this is a really good sturdy bit of card, so it's going to be great for our card base. This is Time for Tea, super smooth card. Right, okay, let me just pop this back out of the way. There she goes, and I'm actually going to cut it with my trimmer, with my tonic trimmer, because this will go through the 2 layers of cardstock better. So I'm going to cut the length first, and then I'm going to, again, you're going to use my die to help me figure out just how much I want to trim off the edge. So let's pop this in here. I'm going to use my die, and I am just purely eyeballing it because I don't do any real measuring. And then you can see just how good that was at cutting out that piece. Really, really excellent. And then, so now that's our card base. Lovely, lovely mini slimline card base. And then I'm going to cut my actual layer from the waist. So pop that on here. I'm going to use some of my trusty washi tape just to hold that in place. And then at the same time, I am also going to cut out the paper hugs. So I'm going to line that up as much in the middle as my eye suggests is correct. Again, always just eyeballing. And I'm going to pop this through my Gemini. So this will be a little bit noisy, bear with. Hello Alice, Happy New Year to you too. So what's everybody up to this evening then? What are we all up to? So these are all my little bits of, well, these are the positive, but for us today, these are the waste, aren't they? So I need something to poke it up with. I'm going to use my little, oh no, my spatula's too thick as well. Oh, I might have to use my pokey tool. They've got embedded a bit into my cutting plate here, which does need to go through my dishwasher, I feel, to straighten it up a little bit. As you can see, it's a little bit on the warped side at the moment. So I just put that there for the minute. So let's see what we've got here. So actually, I've just binned some of the centre points, but never mind. So what you might want to do is keep some of these centre bits, but I've just binned mine because I think you can pretty much read what it says anyway. And I also want a larger area so that we can see colour through the background. So you'll see what I mean. It'll make sense. Hopefully it'll make sense. Okay. Yeah, that one goes there. That one goes there and that one goes there. I like to try and tidy up as I go along, but it doesn't always happen according to plan. Okay, so this is now my focal panel, so to speak. So that, technically speaking, is going to go there. Okay, and then we would have critter number 1 and maybe our little boxes there, as again we're going for a nice, clean and simple look, but I want to make something interesting behind our sentiment. So the way that I'm intending to do this is I need a little bit of where's my Heffy memo tape? Here we go. So I want to just cover up the edges of my card base, because I don't want to get any colour where I don't need it. So we're going to do a bit of ink blending. So I'm going to pop that there, and I'm using the Heffy tape rather than my normal washi tape because it's not as tacky. So I can see that I've put that a little bit too high up. So because it's not as tacky, it's easy to reposition. There we go. Is that where it's going to live in real life? Yes, it is. And then I am just going to do a little bit of a pencil line just behind where the centre point is. And the reason for doing that is that I want different colours at the bottom and the top. So if I just add a little bit of pencil there, that'll be covered up when we put our plate on the back. But it will give me a little bit of a guide to work towards, so that I know what I'm doing. So I'm feeling a little bit like this bit of heavy tape might be a little bit too low, so I'm just gonna move it up. And the only reason that this is here is so that I don't get any ink on these outer corners, because I want to keep those nice and white. So the only ink that you should see is, and in fact, to save on my heavy tape, I'm just going to chop that in half. And we can use one piece there and one piece there. Yeah, that works. Put that back. So, ink blending. Let's have a look at what we can do here. And I'm going to keep all of my letters as well, by the way. They're not going to get wasted because we are going to use those. So I said we may possibly have a bit of a twofer. So that's where they're going to come in. So I'm going to get my little silicone mat out here. And let's pop this onto here. And I'm going to use my tape just to hold that in place. I don't think it'll hold it too much. I don't know whether to maybe open it out. Maybe that'd be the easier way of doing it. Yeah, let's do that. So that we've got a bit of a flatter surface to work with. Just having a look at your comments. Jane says, hello everyone, just popping in for half an hour. You sound like a busy lady, Jane. Jane Vaughan is just cooking dinner, but when she's finished, she's hoping to do a bit of crafting along with me. Oh, excellent. And what are you having for dinner? I would like to know. Lawrence has got a bit of marking and prep for tomorrow to get done. Oh, you work so hard, Laura. Honestly, you've always got stuff to do, bless you. Mini map makers, that is cool. I have so much to catch up, but I'm making inroads to my crafty space. Yay. Oh, that sounds good. Claire says making cards with all the bits that don't often get used up. Excellent. So that's what this is. This is a bit of using all of my bits. Mini Map Maker says, finally after 2 years you have a 2-day workshop with 270 kids. Yay, now I have to count and fill bags with 9 items each. Wow, that sounds like a very hectic session. Lynn's with us, hello. And Sarah says she's just crafting along while watching. What are you crafting? What are you up to? What's sets you? It doesn't matter if they're not time for tea. I was going to say Mini Map Makers, I would love to know your name, Alice. So welcome, Alice. We have Alice's and Alisons in abundance. Are you one of our previous Alisons or are you a new Alison? Alice, sorry. We do have a lot of Alice's and Alisons, but everyone is very welcome. Right, now then, colours, people, colours. So my main colours that I've got going on here are the aquas and then the pinks. So I think I want to start with the pinks on the top, which I think would work really well. So I've got a bit of worn lipstick and I think maybe a bit of abandoned coral. And then for the aqua colours, I'm thinking maybe a bit of salvaged patina and a bit of peacock feathers potentially along the bottom, or yeah, no, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. I don't know whether it's a perfect match, but we're going to give it a whirl. We're going to give it a whirl. So, let me just move these bits out of the way. Now, the ideal thing for this is going to be one of my MIDI size brushes. And I have got a new MIDI there. So I've got one that I've used some blue on. I'm going to just give that a little bit of a clean. Yes, I'm the old Alice one who won the Kitty in a mug time for tea. Not sure why it's changed my name. Oh yeah, so I did, yeah, it's weird that it's done that. So I didn't recognise you, I'm sorry. All I can see is a tiniest little thumbnail, so I can't see anybody's pictures or anything. So I don't know, you know, if I don't see your name, then it's hard to you know, to figure out who's who. So Sarah's just making a card for a friend. I have a few time for tea stamps, but since watching tonight, I've added a few things to your list of new craft items I want to buy on payday. Excellent, that's so cool. Excellent. And hello to Cam, how are you? Good day to you too. And somebody questioned the salvage patina. Is that you, Jane? Have you not seen the salvage patina? This is rather a delicious sight. Now, before I kickstart, I'm going to do another bit of snipping of my Heffy tape, because I've just realised what would be an actually great thing to do would be to add this to my line here, where I put that paper line, so that I don't go above there. Because like I say, this bottom bit is going to be in aqua, kind of the aqua colours, and then the top bit is going to be in the pinks. That's my thoughts. I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, you could do this in any way really. What you could do is you could do an ombre going from one side to the other, which was really cool. Oh, you were suggesting it. I see. I understand now. So you see, that's going to show behind there. That looks. And I like the white actually, the fade to white. So we might just do a little bit further down, and you can see how this is blending really, really well with our little MIDI brush here. And what's going to look really cool now is if I now go in with some of my peacock feathers to just deepen the top of this, and this is going to really bring this into line with our colour scheme. I think this is, it's actually going to work really, really well. Yes, that looks really pretty. And I'm not cleaning off my brush in between, because I like to use some of the ink that's already on there just to help me get that blend, because the two colours work so closely together and work so well together that that's just going to work really nice. So we've got a really nice smooth transition. Yes, that's ticking my boxes. I like that. Just on the subject of our Distress Oxide inks, we have restocked some colours today and introduced a couple of new ones. So I haven't had a chance to use these ones yet. I grabbed a couple for myself. So I've got a Rusty Hinge, which is a really nice shade of brown really, which I thought would be coming really handy for kind of doing sort of wood backgrounds or critter you know, backgrounds. And then we've got the Prize Ribbon, which is the latest blue shade. The Villain is it Villainous Purple? Is that the latest shade? They didn't have any of those in stock, so I hadn't been able to get any of those. But I did manage to grab some of these. I also managed to grab a Kitsch Flamingo Oxide. We've only had the ink so far in stock, but I managed to get that in an Oxide, if you prefer the Oxides to the inks. And then we've restocked some of our other favourites that are already in the shop there. I've also restocked you see me using all the time, which is our Jelly Roll pens, the white and then the glazed black. They've both been restocked. And then again, another thing that you see me using all the time is my Cosmic Shimmer glue. That's my go-to. It's in the small, in these 30mm rather than the larger ones, which I think are a bit more affordable. And then I've also added, just while I'm on the subject of some crafty essential bits that you might want to pop into your baskets, is some of this high tack red tape, which I thought was quite useful, and it's also good for adding like your wow glitter flakes to. And then a small roll of mounting tape. Now, our Time for Tea foam roll is amazing, and is the one that I would recommend, but we're currently out of stock. So just to fill the gap temporarily, this is only a tiny little roll, 2 meters. Ours is 40 meters, so it's huge. It's 2mm ours, but is huge and will last you for ages. We're also getting in stock the 2-inch width foam tape as well. So that's on its way, but will be another couple of weeks before that's in stock. So just to fill the gap in the meantime, we have got those, and I'm going to be giving those a try, I think, tonight. So that's the news. That's the news for you there. Right, let's get another one of my MIDI. This is a new one. Let me get this one. Right, because I want one that is, I'm going to be using pink, so I needed a new one. Pinks and blues seem to be my most used colours, I would say, but then I do like to have a range of like the browns and the greens for backgrounds and scene setting. Right, I can't get my heavy tape up with my silly nails. There we go. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap this round so that, oh, I'm not going to, so you see what I've done there? I've done that wrong. So I've put that with the blue side at the top. That means then that if I do happen to go over that edge, I might drag some of that blue onto my pink, and that will send it purple. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to swap that the other way around, so the clean edge is the edge that's on the end. Oh, I've just spat on my background there. That was a bit silly, wasn't it? Excuse me, that's talking while I'm doing things. Let me just blend over that. Although I am going to do a little bit of splattering potentially on the back of this, because I love a good splatter. We love a good splatter effect, don't we? So I hope all of that made sense. That was lots of information. Lauren says she needs some more oxides. They were next on your list when pennies are available. So yeah, we've had a good restock. A new size of foam tape. Yes, Annalisa. It is. I'm really pleased. I've been wanting it for ages, but the timing's just not really been right to get it in. And I was waiting really, I suppose, for me to be able to put in a fresh order, so that we could get the 2 sizes in at the same time. For our large foam rolls, they do come with a slightly larger postage cost, because they are, like I say, they are huge. The 40 meters, it's really hard to package. It's hard to post. So it does come with that little bit of an extra postage cost, but I will tell you, it is absolutely 100% worth every penny. Which is why I had to get it in stock, because I love it so much. It's the only one that I use, so I wanted you guys to benefit from that as well. So this is the Abandoned Coral. This is going to be my deepest colour, so I'm just add in a good layer of that to the top, and let's grab our sentiment and line that up where it's going to go. So yeah, that's working quite nicely. So just deepen some of that colour at the top. And then I can go back in with the worn lipstick along the bottom there. And you see why this now has been really useful, because I can really get into that edge there, so that I can really get a nice bit of blend between those two shades. So that when it's behind that sentiment, although the edges look a bit messy, that doesn't matter, because when it's behind our sentiment you won't see any of that. So let me pop these back. And then for my brush, I can just give it a little clean with the microfiber cloth. But now I've got a nicely primed pink midi brush there. Let's pop that back there. Okay, so let's remove bits of tape here. And then, like I said, I may do a bit of splattering anyway in the background, because I do like how that looks. So we've now got this effect in the background, which I think just looks really, really cool and is clean and simple, which is what we're looking for. So a little bit of water splatter is always fun as well. That just creates a little bit of extra interest. So I've actually just taken the nozzle out of my water bottle here, and I'm just going to tap this onto my background. So because this way I'm going to get some larger splodges, which I think will look really cool. I don't seem to have many down here. That was quite a large splodge, but that's okay. And I don't know at this point which ones you're going to see behind the letters, because some of them will still be obscured by our panel. So now I'm just going to give them a second to react with the Oxide, and then I've got a bit of kitchen roll here. And now that's had a little bit of time to react, I'm going to pop my kitchen roll over the top, and then we'll just blot some of those splots. Oh, look at that. That looks so cool. So yeah, this is going to give us a little bit more interest. Also helps the panel dry a little bit, which is always good. So I'm just going to keep that bit of tissue because that's quite handy. And then let's remove this because we don't need this now. And I think when I'm doing something like this, and when I'm doing anything that's clean and simple, I feel really guilty, like I should be doing something more. I think that's why I feel like it should be more complicated than it needs to be, and it really doesn't need to be. So let's just burnish that crease again. So now, look at that. That looks so cool. Now, if you did want to, you know, add a little bit more to it, you could put some acetate behind here and make it a shaker card, which would be quite cool. But I'm going to add some tape to the back of this, and I could. Do you think we could use this? I might have to cut it down a little bit. So for that purpose, I am going to cheat. I did say to you I was going to use it, but I'm not today. I'm actually going to use time for tea tape. Now then, she says that I can't find it. Where is it? This is my big roll. I found that. There it is. So this is the big roll, which has been, the middle of mine has come out because I've used it that much, and it's been ragged about a bit, to be honest with you, around this office. So I do have one that's almost in complete form, but again, probably doesn't show it in its best light, because yours won't be destroyed like mine is. but I just wanted to give you an idea of the size. So this is one that is being, like I say, it's been a little bit overused, and so is huge. And this is a much used larger one. So this is going to be the larger one, the one that's going to be it's almost, I think is it 1.5 inches rather than 2 inches. I can't remember now what it was. Oh, I lie, it's 1 inch. It wasn't 2 inches, it was 2 centimetres, that's right. So so that's the larger roll that's on order. It's 2 millimetres thick, the same as the thinner tape that we've got, which is this one. So so you will be able to use both on your projects, and they'll both be the same height, which is why I'm going to use them now, because I'm going to use the thicker tape on here, but then I can use the narrower tape on the top there, so that it's all the same height. I can also use this to use some little pieces just to support some of those central parts that we don't want to collapse. So I'm just going to use some, these are my Teflon scissors, so they're really useful for putting your tapes. And then let's just cut a few little pieces to support some of these areas here. And you can see, because it is so narrow, it fits perfect. This is why it's perfect shaker tape, because it fits into those narrow areas really, really beautifully, which is what we need. Oh, I've cut that a little bit too big. Let's cut a little bit off the end there. Put that one in there. And you see these little pieces could do with a little bit of support, I feel. So let's just pop those in there, because the last thing you need is it collapsing, do you? Let's pop that in there. Now then, does this bit need a little bit of support? I think that might be okay. I think that might be okay. So then I can use my larger tape then to do these end pieces. So just eyeballing how much we need there, and the same on this side. There we go. So we've got a good amount of tape on the back of there. It's all the same height, and that will keep everything supported and in place. And that gives us a nice little bit of dimension on the front of the card. Excellent. Okay. Oh, sorry for that squeak. Right, where are we? Jess says she's loving the colours, looking very exciting. And you're crafting along using all time for tea tonight. And what are you making? What's the theme? What's the message? What's the message, Jess? What's the message? And then let's have a look. Sorry, Rachel says that mat looks good. So the mat is great. We did have a few of them in stock previously, and I think I'm gonna see if I can source some more. They were just they were a little bit pricey, so I'm gonna see if I can get some you know, that are a bit more cost effective for us. Because yeah, they are. I use it every time I ink blend now. So, and you know, you see me use it every time, which you know, whenever I'm using something that I really love, I would love to offer it to you all to use as well, because then I guess you know that I'm offering it to you because I genuinely enjoy using it. It's not just a case of I'm just trying to sell you something. It is just that I know when I'm watching someone and they're using something that really works, I want to be able to use it too. So okay, so that's looking great. I love it. Alice says, that's exactly how I feel. If my card doesn't take hours and hours, I feel it isn't good enough. Exactly. You seem like, it feels like you're cheating, doesn't it? Jess says, there doesn't seem to be an obvious theme or sentiment, but might end up as a thanks or maybe a Valentine's. Jane says, it looks better than the waffle flower one because it doesn't have the lip all around. Yeah, exactly. It is just got the, it's got the few little bits at the top that you might use for, if you wanted to do any painting, you could pop bits of paint or ink in the top of there and use those. But then the rest of it is totally smooth, apart from the fact that it's got the measurements on the bottom, but the rest of it's totally smooth. And it does provide, because it's silicone, it provides a little bit of a resistance, so it doesn't totally slip. Your project doesn't slip around on it. The only downside with it, if it is a downside, is that it does attract bits of you know, like paper lint and fluff. So, and don't get any embossing powder anywhere near it because it sticks to it like nobody's business. So you might want to just it might need a good rinse under a tap occasionally, just to get some of those lint bits off it. But in terms of using it for your actual projects, it's perfect. So here we go. So this is where, like we were just saying there, Annalisa, where it can feel like you're cheating a little bit, because we're going to put a couple of characters on here, and then we're going to be pretty much done. And sometimes it can feel a little bit of a cheat, but it's really not at all. So I'm wondering whether to add on here, and this is where I start adding bits that are maybe not totally necessary. The sentiment sending paper hugs, because I feel like that possibly makes a bit more sense than just the paper hugs. So there isn't a die for the sending for this one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stamp it on a piece of cardstock and we will trim it out. And I'm just going to do, am I going to do that? Am I just going to do black on white, or should we do a black piece of cardstock? We can try both, can't we? This is where we start making it more complicated than it needs to be. So, and I do feel like that it probably doesn't need the black because we haven't got black anywhere else. So, just going to stamp this, so that you can see. In fact, let's do it this way around, because it's only small. There we go. So I used my VersaFine Onyx Black for that, because that is my go-to for sentiments. White on black might be nice, a bold pop up against all the white. That was what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking, Jane. So I am going to do both, because, it's good to have options. It's good to have options. So, I need a little bit of black cardstock now, which I have got in my scraps. Here. Now I did see somebody saying that Alice saying that her little aunt loves the stinking cute stamps. He loves a pun, which is really cool. And I have to agree. I am loving that as well. I think that's been used by a lot of the design team lately as well, because of I think it's perfect for Valentine's, that one. It is absolutely perfect. So yeah, if you've not seen that one, you really should check it out, because it is so cool. So, quick stamp of this sentiment here, sending, and again, we don't need a lot of cardstock for this. So let's just grab a little bit of scratch paper here and pop this on and get some of my fine white embossing powder. Yeah, that looks grand. And then we can compare the two, because that's what we like to do. And just because it's a clean and simple card doesn't mean that you haven't put effort into it and that the finishing touches aren't going to, you know, make it special. So, you know, like I say, I think we do sometimes feel like we're cheating, but sometimes the more simple a card looks, it looks like, you know, it's been effortless, but nobody really knows the amount of effort that has actually gone into it behind the scenes. Even clean and simple cards require effort. Oh, thank you, Jane, for answering that question. I didn't explain that step, did I? I do apologise. I will show you that in a second. So I'm just applying my heat to that. Hopefully you can see that. So that we've got that in place. Now I have used, that was an anti-static powder tool from XOXO. I am going to be really honest with you and say that I don't think this is that effective. And I don't know why I always reach for this one, because it's easier to grab. But this anti-static bag actually works much better. So this is a woodware one. I think we may have got one or two of these in the shop still. These actually are much more effective, but for some reason I keep going for this one, and I don't find this works so well, which is evidenced by the fact that we have a few little spots of the embossing ink that have set around my sentiment, but they're very, very tiny, they're barely noticeable. And one of the things that we talked about last week was using say your Copic markers just to colour over those, and that you won't see them, and nobody will know that it ever happened. So I'm just going to get my microfiber cloth now and just clean off any of that anti-static, because it does dull your cardstock a little bit. I'm going to cut these with my trimmer, because they're only small. I'm not going to use a die to cut them out. I can probably cut them quite simply just using my trimmer here. It is a little bit fiddly because they are so small, so I'm just going to have to be really, really careful to put enough pressure so that they don't move. But I think we've pretty much got it. So that's sending. It's a little bit too long on this end, so let's just bob that end off. So that's one. And then the other one that we've got is our black on white. So chop that bottom bit off, trim the ends. I do need to just trim off a little bit of the top there. So again, I'm just going to very carefully hold that in place so it doesn't move. And it's going to be hard for you to see because I'm butting it up against the bottom ridge, which means that I'm more chance of getting it straight. So again, there you go. That's our other sentiment. So that one's worked out a little bit smaller, but we'll see what that looks like. So, Alice says, what is your policy on using your stamps? I don't sell cards, but include them with the colouring parts of the workshop for the children, like on postcards. I stamp each one, then copy, and I'll put on there design by time for tea. So that's a little bit of a tricky one, Alice, because technically speaking, under the angel policy, you shouldn't be copying the images and then selling them. So if you are copying them and then popping them in a kit, you are technically speaking still selling them. So it might be worth us having a little bit of a chat separately. I appreciate that you are crediting time for tea with the images, which is very important. But I so that is just a tricky one. It's a bit of a grey area, that one, I would say, because you're reproducing the image and then selling it and profiting from it, whereas the angel policy means that you should be creating something new with that image, and then you can sell the resulting card that comes from it, but you shouldn't be copying and reproducing just the image to sell on. So yeah, I think I probably need to understand a little bit about your about the classes and the way that's made up, to fully understand. So yeah, so the sending with the white gets a little bit lost there, so I think we were right to do it on the black, because that's going to stand out a little bit more. But I think I prefer how closely I trimmed the other one, so I may just have to trim that down a little bit, because you can see it's a fraction. Do you think we'll get away with it? Yeah, I think we might get away with it. I don't want to fuss too much, but I am going to just cover over some of those dots with this Copic pen, because I see them and they bother me. I just think it doesn't look as clean, and you really want that sentiment to pop, don't you? So just tidying it up a little bit with that pen looks great. Yes, haven't done it yet, but we'll chat later. Absolutely. And I appreciate you asking the question, because a lot of people wouldn't. And, you know, it's like I say, it's a tough one because it is a bit of a grey area. So I think we're pretty much getting there. There's my little stack of presents. There it is. So I feel like my paper hugs was a little bit too far this way, but it doesn't matter. I think we'll get away with it. Did I clean my stamp? I don't think I did. So give that a little bit clean. Make sure that you keep your stamps clean, because they will then last longer. Look after them. If you're like me and you're a hoarder of your stamps, I buy stamps because I love them and I want to use them over and over again. So I don't want them to get damaged, and I want them to all, you know, keep their stickiness. So I'm going to pop up my little guys here. So I'm going to use this same tape so that everything's consistent in height again. So we've got that, and then we've got our little stack of parcels here. And one on the top. So what else have you guys been up to this week since we last spoke? I'll tell you a little bit about what we've been doing, maybe, if you're interested. Apart from obviously working, as always, I'm preparing for the new release, which is coming next week. Oh my god, I can't believe that is coming so soon. I've got so much to do and so little time. But apart from that, we've also been we've actually been putting some little preparations in place for a dual baby shower on Sunday. Jane says, looks amazing. I'm definitely a cast lover. Saying good night now. Thanks for the company. You're very, very welcome, and thank you for joining us, Jane. I know you're busy, got lots to do. So it's nice for you to pop in for a bit. Jane says she's crafting with the new release goodies right now. That's very sneaky little tease there for everyone. So we're preparing for a baby shower. So we spent all day yesterday trying to get various bits together for the baby shower. It's a dual baby shower because both of Aunt's sisters are having a baby within 2 weeks of each other. How mad is that? Both their firsts as well. So really, really awesome. A very, very busy time, as you can imagine. Just back to the card for a moment. This is pretty much done. But I have got some of these multicoloured hearts clay sprinkles, which I think are going to look great as additional little embellishments on here. So I just need to find the colours that I want, really. And what you can do, this is another great tip, is that you can colour these with your Copics if they're not quite the colour that you want. So For example, let's have a go at colouring one of these, because this is quite a salmony pink colour. And I don't know whether this will go over the pink in the same way, but let's have a go. Yeah, that looks really cool actually. So I can just colour over the top of that with my Copic marker. Obviously you need to let it dry, but because Copic markers are permanent, that should, you know, become a permanent colour for us. What does it look like over white? Let's have a look at it over the white. I'm just going to turn it over because one side's a bit more curved than the other. So it looks a bit paler on there. So what we could do is, let's go for more of a red, oops, on there. So the only thing that you've got to just think about is how you're going to hold it down, but you could add it to a bit of washi tape, stick it onto some the upturned washi tape to hold it in place just while it dries. And then obviously you may want to just do the edges as well. So now we've got, you know, a couple of different colours there. I do have also, we have in our store the Lots of Love, which have got pinks and reds, which will go really well with this as well. So, but that's just another little tip if you want to customise things. So I'm going to go with, let me get my quick sticks tool. Oh, throwing them around. And so we've got these like little aqua colour, which is cute, and will go really nicely, I think. Oh, you could have one in there, look. That looks quite cute. I don't know if I like that, but let's, again, this is where I start to fuss and play. We've got pink, and I've got some red in here. Let's go with some red. Let's go with a couple of reds. That's really sweet. And then maybe that one there. I've got another pink. I like the thought of them just kind of tumbling there, which is quite cute. Yeah, I'm kind of into that arrangement. Looking kind of cute. What do we think? So I'm just going to turn that one a bit round a little bit. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So let's grab my Glossy Accents. And see if I can get this to come out. It's got a little bit clogged here. Lovely. Oh. Yes, excellent. So, Glossy Accents works as a gloss, but also as a great glue. So one there. So I don't know whether this is clean and simple for me. I don't know if this meets clean and simple rules because we've added some embellishments. I don't know the rules, but This is very clean and simple for me. I also really love the way that it looks. So I don't mind if it's not totally clean and simple. It meets my requirements. and that's the main thing. That's the thing with any craftiness. It should make you happy. And I'm going to add a little bit of gloss to his nose because I can. I just like to add gloss to little critters' noses because it works as a gloss as well. So yeah, I think that's worked out quite well. I'm just going to gather up my embellishments in my little tray here. This is a little tray from Twiddler's Nook. It's really handy for just catching all of your little bits. It's got a little spout kind of element there, so it allows you to just tip them back into your container with ease. So I just pop that back, and there, that's the card done. Nice, clean, simple, really, really cute. I love that. I really like that. I think that's really cute. So that's the first card. Now that's obviously taken us a fair bit of time, and I said that we might have a twofer here, and I feel like we can still make another card really quickly before well, maybe a little bit after 9:30 it might be, but I feel like I want to go for it. I'm into the clean and simple vibe. So let's have another look at what we've got going on here, because we did say that we could use this frame, didn't we? But I've also got, this is a really cool frame. This is our stripes frame, which is also really, really cool. This fits on an A6 card base, and again we could keep this super clean and simple with a background, our die here, and a simple sentiment that is from the stamp set. So again, just keeping it really simple, really quite not really basic, but just, you know, we're not going overboard with it. We're going to keep it really quite simple. Sarah says it's given you a great idea to try later. Yay! Lucianne, hello there. Jenny, hello to you. Tina says, Sarah, hope you're making my birthday card ready for the end of the month. That's funny, I like that. So yeah, I think we could do something here. I'm not quite sure which way around I want my little guy to be. And I know I said I was going to use those extra dies that we've got here. But I feel like that now this may be a bit too much on here, because again we're keeping it clean and simple. But what you could do is just use these on your background. So if we were to add these onto a card base, that would be kind of funky, wouldn't it? But I don't think they'll quite fit into there, no. So, I've got so many ideas. So many ideas. What should we do? What should we do? Because that, we're going to put that on there, you see. Right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm into this idea. I think. We'll see. We'll see whether it turns out. Because again, we're doing quick and simple, allegedly. So that's our first card. We'll not forget him. Let's put these two on side. Okay, so I'm going to get a different die set, because I'm going to use a background dye instead. And the background dye that I'm going to use is going to be this one with the stitched hearts, because I think this is perfect. This is perfect for Valentine's. It's perfect for just sending someone some love. So that's what I'm going to do. That is my decision. So I am going to get some of our super smooth cardstock. I'm going to cut this out. And I'm going to do some very simple ink blending here. Again, just to add a little bit of colour. So let's chop this down, put this through the Darketing machine. So sorry if there's a bit of noise. But this is Challenge Annika now. Did anybody ever watch Challenge Annika? I never did. I think I was a little bit too young actually. But Challenge Annika, she had a limited amount of time to complete a task. And that's what we're doing right here. We're having a limited amount of time. I'm speed crafting now. So this is real. This is Challenge Joe time. Can she do a card in 20 minutes? I think we can do this. I think we can. So, first card complete. I'm going to put that out of the way before I destroy it. I'm going to grab... Is this an A2 size card? Yes, it is. And an A6 size. A6. It's by A6, yes. A6 size card base at the ready. And we need our silicone mat back out. We're going to do some ink blending. So here we go. This is back. And what colour inks am I going to use? I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with a pinky background again. So I've got some Tattered Rose this time and a bit of worn lipstick. So let's go with this. Tattered Rose, let's use this brush. And I'm going to start with this at the top. Tattered Rose, really subtle pink colour. So we're not going to see a lot of this on screen, I don't imagine. But it is going to help some of those little stitched hearts pop out a little bit. So hopefully you can see those popping through. And then we'll go in with our warm lipstick in the middle. So again, you're going to see a little bit more popping through. And I'm just not worrying about the transition at this stage, so we'll go back over that in a second. And then at the very bottom, our darkest shade is going to be that abandoned coral that we used before. That's very cool. So I'm just making sure that that's really nicely blended. And the more, with the Oxide inks, they're really great to blend with. The more colour you add, the smoother that blend's going to be. And as it dries back, you're really going to get to see that really nice blend of colour. So I'm now going back in over that transition with some of the worn lipstick, and just using the colour that's still really on my brush here. Let's pull that colour upwards a little bit. One of the things that I am hoping to get a little bit better with, and I'm still struggling with, is just using more subtle colour schemes. I tend to go very dark, not dark, but very bold, lots of bold colour. And I do like really subtle, pretty pastel ink blending backgrounds that I've seen. A lot of the design team that are on the Time for Tea family are really, really good at this. It's not my strong point, because I do tend to be a bit more heavy-handed, but I also like the bold, bright colours. So that tends to be my natural go-to. So I do want to practice a little bit more about just making things a little bit more subtle, and like we're saying, to like our little experiment today, is doing things that are a bit more clean and simple. So now I've got that done, I can wipe my surface clean with my cloth. But I'm also just going to have a look here, because the idea now is that we've got these white die cuts will really nicely stand out against our background, which they do really, really well. So I'm really pleased with that. So we've now got paper hugs, and we've got sending as well, which I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put that, but we'll just pop that there for now. And then in the centre we can have our little cat sending out those paper hugs. Like I say, I'm going to pop that on the front of there, and I think that does work really, really well. I actually think that looks really cute just like that. So you can see now we have got the basis of a really, really cute, quick and simple card. So I'm buzzing with this, actually. I'm so excited, I just want to get it done now. So, but the thing that I am going to do, which will take a little bit of time but not too much time, is I'm going to cut some more of our paper hugs die. Where's my paper hugs gone? Where did I put it? Where are you? I've got stamps and dies all around me, and I can't find the one that I actually need. There it is. Put that one away. So I'm going to cut this one out again a couple more times, just because then we can use that to create a little bit of dimension, effectively making our own die cut piece, I guess, our own like chipboard piece, effectively. So which way should I do this? Just thinking about the most economical use of my card stock, as always, as I'm sure you all will too, as frugal crafters. You've got some inspiration from tonight for making some cards for friends. That's really cool. I do love that. If you aren't already, if you join our friends page, so this is the main Time for Tea Designs page, but we also have a friends page, and we really encourage you to share your makes on there if you haven't already. Because we love to see what you create. And on Instagram, if you add the hashtag Time for Tea Designs, I will be notified that you've mentioned us, and I will find your project, and we often share those on our stories so other people can see what you've done and be inspired by your crafty creations. There we go. So I've cut 2 more of these. Let me just grab that one so that we can stack these up. So this is going to be a really nice simple card to put together, and I think the thing that you know, I always forget, like we were saying before, is that I feel like, oh, I need to do something really complicated, but these background dies and these sentiment dies and the stamp sets themselves are made so that you don't have to overcomplicate it. Just a really pretty background die and you're away, really, which is all this effectively. That's what we've done here, is just done a simple background, and we're going to build that up with our couple of our images, and we've not even used all of our images. So one of the great things to do, and what I love to do, is I'll stamp out and colour and die cut all of my stamp set, all of the characters, all of the images, even all of the sentiments, and then see how many cards you can make out of that one set, which is really cool, really fun thing to do, to see, you know, like the card I showed you before when we started, so the box card one, that used pretty much, well, in fact it did, and extra, used every die, every stamp and die in that stamp set, and that's really, really fun to do. I love doing that. But being able to do something like this, where we've actually got at least 2, and I'll have probably, because we didn't actually stamp out all of the images, we still had the little raccoon there and the little bird, and also got the stamp and the other little box. You've potentially got another card there just using those images. So yeah, you could get 3 cards out of stamping one set, which is awesome. So let's get our card base here. Let's pop this all together. Now then, I'm going to just pop that, I think I'll pop that flat onto our card base. So I'm going to use some of my liquid glue. So this is the Cosmic Shimmer glue that I mentioned is now back in stock in the shop. This is my go-to glue. I don't use any other liquid glue other than this. I've tried many others, and I even looked into maybe getting some of our own made, but when it came down to it, it wasn't going to be as good as this. So again, I only want to endorse for you stuff that I actually want to use and love using. So this is my go-to glue, and I use it for everything. I'm just going to pop a bit of pressure on the top of there so that it properly sticks down. Excellent. Now, because this has got rounded corners and my card doesn't have rounded corners, I am just going to snip off these edges, but you could use a corner rounder as well if you wanted to. I don't mind actually not having rounded corners, but I think it just finishes it off if we do. So there we go. Just snip off those edges. So we've got a nice rounded corner edge. And then let's just start building some of this up. So I'm going to change the little envelope on the front here because it doesn't match. So I'm just going to stick that over the top, and that just gives an extra little bit dimension to that envelope anyway. So again, that's quite sweet. And then we've now got to find all of our letters and match them all up. So we've got some G's, we've got some U's, we've got a H, another G, S, H, U, is my little, let's move my little cat down here, and we've got paper A, B, P, B, E, R. And the other thing that we've done this week, just while I'm stacking all of these, because this is just a little bit of probably a bit of a boring thing to watch, but it won't take too long. We went to the cinema, which I was really excited about because we've not been to the cinema for ages. And we went to see the latest Spider-Man. Has anybody seen it? Anybody into the kind of superheroes, the Marvel or DC? And which are, if you are, which are you? Are you a Marvel or a DC, or do you like both? Because some people are very much one or the other, aren't they, I think? We like both, but I think if I had to choose between the two, I would be Marvel. But I'm a big fan of Wonder Woman, which is DC. So, you know, I'm torn because of Wonder Woman. But because I think that the DC universe is a little bit darker than Marvel, and I think there's a bit more humour in the Marvel universe. So I do like that. I'm a big fan of Iron Man, Thor. I love them all, really. But the new Spider-Man was awesome. So, Jane, your 4-year-old loves Spider-Man. So have you seen any of the... Is she too young for the new Spider-Man? Sarah says, thank you for the inspiration. I'm off now. Good night, all. Good night, and thank you for staying. The replay will be available tomorrow. So if you want to catch the end and what we came up with in the end, then you can see that after the event. She just watches the cartoons. Yeah, I thought she might be a little bit too young for the actual Spider-Man. But we actually watched a little bit of a Lego like movie, but mini movie with the Marvel characters. It's so cute. It really was quite funny. You're not fussed for any of them, Jane. Oh, you don't know what you're missing. I loved it. It was very emotional. But then I think I must be at that age where I find everything emotional. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be Strictly, it could be an advert, it could be well, it could be anything really. I could be watching, I don't know, A Place in the Sun and get emotional. I'm a bit soppy like that. So yeah, so we enjoyed that. It was nice after a busy day of shopping and working to be able to have just a couple of hours sat in the cinema, just relaxing. But I tell you what, I took him with me a bag of sweets, and I absolutely love sour sweets, and I took them in to the cinema with me, and I had half the bag. It's a big bag. And oh, I made myself feel quite ill, but I couldn't resist them. Yeah, sour sweets are definitely my go-to cinema snack. Do you guys have a particular cinema snack? Do you take like your popcorn and your nachos? Some people take whole meals in with them, don't they? I think. But yeah, that's our thing, is a few sweets with us. But these were so sour they made my teeth hurt. So yeah, they were naughty. So final letter. Hopefully that wasn't too boring for you to watch. I wish the bits like this are the bits that I think, oh, it'd be good if I could just fast forward this bit for you. But it's also, I think, if you've not seen this done before, it's good for you to see. And it is such an easy thing to do, because now we've got a bit of dimension in all of our letters. So we're not going to have to put any foam tape on the back of them and mess about with that. We're just going to be able to stick them straight down, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm just making sure that everything's going to line up where I want it to. So paper hugs. There we go. And oftentimes it's worth starting with your middle letter and working out, because at least then you know you've got it central. You've got it centralised. And my sending is always the bit that I think, because it's one little bit, is it going to look better in the middle, or is it better if we offset it? And sometimes if I look at things on screen before I commit to them, it does give me a better idea of what they look like. So yeah, maybe popping that in the middle is probably going to look a little bit better. If I could stamp it directly onto my background, but I'm a bit scared because of the I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to add it. I'm not going to add it. I don't think it needs it. I'm just going to do paper hugs, I think. And these guys will go in the middle. That's cute, isn't it? That's really cute. What do we think? Yeah, so I'm going to pop my P in the middle first. And I can also use my hearts here as an indicator of where that middle is. So it's in the middle of the middle, which is great. And then I can make sure each of my, and the handy thing is that there are 5 hearts and I've got 5 letters. So purely accidental, but that is again is a good way of spacing out my letters, because I've got those hearts. I know that they are evenly spaced, so that will help me line this up nicely. There we go. So these have been super quick and easy to do, lots of fun, because sometimes you just want something that is quick and easy, and you know, sometimes you don't want to spend hours, like you say, Annalisa, you know, poring over a card, because you want it to be fun, you want to have some fun, you want to create something, and you want to be able to see the results of your labour, don't you? So yeah, I feel like sometimes having a more quick and simple card. Sorry, I'm just going to have to move that over because I haven't spaced that very well, and put my P a little bit further across. That's better. You know, that is it. Ultimately, we want to be having fun while we're doing this, don't we? So my U and my G are my centre letters here, so they're going to go on either side of this heart, line of hearts here. So again, this is going to help me line this up. I think this looks really cute, and I do love the colour scheme that, although I'd already effectively chosen it because I'd coloured in my my images beforehand, my little critters, that's helped me decide how I want to colour my background. And again, that's cut down on the thinking time, so that's also a useful thing to do. If you find yourself a colour scheme for your images, you can then, you know, use that to help build your background when you finally do come to put your card together. So you've already taken some of that thinking. You're not having to come up with it all at once, which also adds to the feeling of less stress when we're crafting. Cool, so happy with that now. Yes, so now I want to pop up these little characters, and I'm going to crack open my little foam tape here, because this is really quite thick as well, which is going to be exciting. So let's get a nice bit of dimension on these guys. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, throwing things. I'll pop this down first. So this is nice, robust tape. I like it. So I'll pop that there. Put it on a little bit of an angle, a little bit askew. I'm not going to add any tape to the envelope because that's going to overlap. Where do I want to put tape here? I think put one there and one on his head. That's a good way of doing it. And then I'm just going to cut the tiniest little bit to go across his paw to give that support. So that should now sit perfectly there, which it does. Excellent. So this is card number 2 done. It is almost 20 to 10, so I've gone 10 minutes over, but we've created 2 fun cards. I'm still tempted to put the sending on. Don't know why. It feels like it should say sending paper hugs, but I can't see anywhere where I like it, although on a little bit of an angle there did look quite cute, didn't it? I need a smaller bit of tape. Let's try it. I liked it on a little bit of an angle. Brilliant cards, Joe, says Jane. Thank you. Yeah, I quite like it on a little bit of a skew like that. Just looks quite cute, doesn't it? So let me grab these other little bits that we've not used. So I think that is pretty much done. You could add some other little jewels and sparkles. Something like our little bubbles here would be quite cute because they don't take anything away from our background, but they're nice and clear. So we could add a couple of these in different sizes. I do love adding a little bit of extra, you know, little embellishments here, hither and thither. I feel like the big one maybe needs to go up top there, and then the little one maybe in the middle there. These little bubbles, we don't have them in stock at the moment, but I'm hoping to get some more in shortly because they are so handy. They really are very handy to have. They just look really cute, don't they? Just knocking about. Let's see if we get one more. I like to do in odd numbers, so 3 or 5, and I think this moving around the page looks quite good, for a little bit of extra bling, so why not? let's do it. You could add sequins, you could add gems, you could add, you know, anything that you've got really. But like I say, I do like these little clear bubbles because they're just really quite, they had a bit of shimmer, a bit of shine, but they're not, you know, too in your face. Very subtle little background. And we're done. Well, I'm quite pleased that I was just about within time with my little personal challenge that I set myself there. I hope that you guys liked it, and it's great that some of you found a bit of inspiration from what we've tried today. So let me get my first one. 2 pretty quick and easy cards, fairly clean and simple, the first one, and certainly easy to do. So, and they go together really quite well. Loving those, and I'm really pleased that you guys have been able to join me tonight and have enjoyed what we've done. And if you do create some yourselves, then do share them with us on our friends page. Like I say, next week is going to be new release week, so we're going to have lots of exciting new products for you to see, and we're going to do things a little bit differently next week. So we're going to have a little bit of a countdown to the new release, which you will see on our YouTube channel, and then obviously we will have our usual live full reveal here on Facebook next Thursday. So dates for you to kind of think about are, the countdown will start on Monday, so you get a sneak peek every day next week up until the big reveal on Thursday. And then on Tuesday we will be doing a YouTube live, which will not be anything to do with the new release, but will just be a bit of fun crafty time with me. And then, like I say, on Thursday we will do the reveal of the new release, and then on Friday the new release will be live. So busy week next week, lots to look forward to, yeah, I'm sending you lots of crafty hugs as well as paper hugs. Thanks so much for watching tonight, guys, and I'll see you all again really soon. See you soon, guys. Bye.